Oh my goodness. I mean, motherhood is just like this enormous, profound, life-changing experience. I mean, it's another beyond words thing, isn't it? And it unfolds. You can't know how it's going to be. You can't know what this child that comes into your life is going to be like. You're not in control of it. You suddenly have this mystery unfolding, which tests presses your buttons and tests your assumptions, because this other creature is there and they're going to, you have to see what comes up. You can imagine how your child would be, how you want them to be, but you're dealing with clay or something. It's not all in your control. They have their own thing
You
going
can
on.
say that again.
So, so I mean, I just think it's a very extraordinary experience, and fundamentally changes your attitude to all humans. I think, actually, just because you think, I can remember just holding Oscar as a young baby and walking past people who were lost or homeless or clearly in trouble, and just thinking, each of them at some point, had a mother that gave birth to them and cared for them, and you see that little child in everybody, and you know it's just it does change how you see other
Oh, I
humans, I
couldn't
think.
agree more, because everyone is the child of someone at the end of the day, right? And you realize
Yeah.
that. I mean, I'm the mother of two university students, and I concur fully with what you're saying. And I think that there is something very fundamental in human life. And when it's, your child, it puts a different lens on literally everything, every aspect of life, every interconnection. How does your son engage with what he sees of you? I mean, because obviously you're his mum, so you're probably just mum to him, but has your path been a massive influence on him in terms of his outlook and so forth?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's changed, So he was with me in Bhutan when I was ordained in Pinokazong, as you mentioned. He was with me. He wasn't in the room, but he was down the corridor. Now, he was 5 at that point. So he's a 5-year-old in the Himalayan kingdom of Bhutan, being cared for by monks in one room. And down the corridor, his mum is being fully ordained. And I mean, not fully ordained, get Suma vows, is the highest vows that women can hold in Bhutan. But in that room, And I don't think he can really remember me any other way, to be honest. And he's had moments of being very proud of me and thinking I'm super cool and unlike the other mums. And he's had moments of saying things like, Mama, you're never going to get a handbag like the other mums at school. And, these moments are kind of like, oh, so because children, they have moments of really wanting to fit in and wanting you to be identical to everybody else. And then they have moments of thinking, no, it's really cool not to be identical with everyone else. And they kind of go back and forward in this kind of way.
Which is completely normal, isn't it, in their childlike ecosystem as they evolve. As I often say, most people spend the first half of their life trying to conform, and the second half finding a path to identify the fact that they are entirely unique. How does, referencing the handbag, if we may momentarily, we are in a over-consuming universe in some respects. Despite all the references to the environment and what we're doing to the planet, obviously a massive theme right here, right now, with COP and so forth. And, more and more people who perhaps were raging consumers, paring back, recycling, buying less, buying better, sharing more, upcycling what they have and so forth. What does your son see in how you live around that? Because obviously children are subjected to consumption, aren't they? Out in the school, in the playground, with their friends, etc. How have you managed that with him, given your choices in life?
Well, obviously, he's seen me live relatively simply, and he knows that's how we've chosen to live. I mean, he, as a young boy now, he's 15 now, so he has trainers and clothes, and he has a huge range of things that I don't have personally. So I think I haven't, I can't make him into some kind of mini monk. He's not a monk. He's a 15-year-old boy in the West, but he is very aware of greed. There are different states of mind, different sufferings of mind in the Buddhist way of thinking about things: pride, jealousy, desire, and one of them is greed, and it's called the hungry ghost realm. Because it's never satisfied. It's a state of being continually unsatisfied by what you have and wanting more. And he's very quick to say, if I say something like, oh, I'd like a something, I don't know what, he was very quick to say, Mum, is that not the hungry ghost realm? So he teases me, you know, he's like my little
I love that.
watchman,
I
you know
love
what I
that.
mean? And yeah, so it's very, I think it takes time for people to become content with just kind of enough, and not to see that as a lesser way of living or some kind of sacrifice. To be comfortable with it, really comfortable with it, I think maybe takes time. Otherwise, people think it's like a reduced way of living, a lesser way of living. You know what I mean? But a lot of the franticness and the distractedness and the unhappiness seems to be linked to not being able to just be peacefully content with just a simple way of living. And so I do recommend it, but it's not so easy to do maybe.